Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of our podcast, Tech with Sukant. Today we have K B Shiv. Did you face any difficulty, transitioning from commerce to a completely computer science and maths domain?
I actually didn't much because I believe my logic was very strong from the very beginning.
What was the problem you were solving at IndiQus?
We were solving this cloud problem only, right?
Okay. Let's assume, like if this offer of acquisition was there 5 years earlier, would you guys have taken it?
Probably yes, even then.
Is it possible to govern AI?
That only time can tell, but I believe yes, with the right measures in place.
How about, there are certain times when someone has been, in terms of aptitude, has been extremely good, but probably becomes a bad vibe or a bad energy for the rest of the team.
I will let go immediately.
What makes someone climb that tech leadership versus someone being stuck at the middle management?
I will say the ability to take a decision and the decision making and ability to own, doesn't matter if it goes wrong, to own and take the decision.
Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of our podcast, Tech with Sukant. Today we have K B Shiv, who is currently the EVP and CTO at Yotta. Thank you, sir, for taking time for this podcast today. Really nice to have you today.
Thank you so much, Sukant. Pleasure is all mine too.
So, sir, tell me, what has been the pivotal moments in your career that led to who you are today?
That's a good question. I think one of the most pivotal moments of my career was I am as such a BCom honors student, and I took commerce in my school. So I was, in college, and there was a campaign going on,
Okay.
and there were a lot of students crowded around one place. So I went and just went and saw what's happening. So there, they were NIIT had come up and they were having a sort of a scheme where one could get a scholarship for the course. So I just applied, and I scored got a 50% scholarship, and then I started doing that course.
Okay.
And that really interested me. I was a very happy-go-lucky guy in college, and I didn't have any specific academic interests. But I used to love those logic questions. It was, if there are four figures, what will the fifth figure be? And those kind of questions that were.
You never planned for this.
Yeah,
You
this
were
was
doing
not
doing
planned
commerce
at
and it just
all. I was
happened out of the blue.
Absolutely. I was nowhere near science, not even near science, forget computer science. But I took this like a fish to water, and it was an amazing journey after that.
Okay.
And it's,
Did you face any difficulty, transitioning from commerce to a completely computer science and maths domain?
I actually didn't much because I believe my logic was very strong from the very beginning, and B, I was very interested in it. It was a subject which I not just was good at, but I was very interested in. The other subjects were just time pass for me, and somehow I managed graduation in 3 years. I mean, I shouldn't be saying this in front of everyone, but yeah. But that really got me interested and hooked to this line.
So you mentioned that you were doing
BCom
BCom honors in
BCom.
commerce. So what were you planning to do in your career then? Why commerce?
See, in 10th, I was given the option. We had to choose the option, right? So I had chosen commerce because I thought science was too much of effort and too much of studies. And
Okay.
as I said, I was a absolutely happy-go-lucky guy. So I took commerce, and I had planned probably to do some CA,
Were you,
ICW
okay.
exams.
Were you a good student in a school?
Sorry?
Were you a good student in a school?
Average.
Okay.
I was always the naughty kind and the guy who used to, play truant and.
Okay. So you wanted to become a CA and ended up becoming a CTO eventually.
Yeah. That's how life is, and that's one of the things I keep telling kids who come and you want to ask something. That, look, even if you take something in college, it's not nothing is final.
Mm-hmm.
You let your heart and your passion drive you, and you can just take it as it comes. If you want to pivot, as they say in a startup language, if you want to pivot in your career also, there's no harm. I
Right.
think this was one of the best things that happened to me. If I had not gone there, I would have not given that exam. I would have
Mm-hmm.
not even known what computer science is, or maybe yeah, whatever the layman knows right now. That's so.
So you started your career with an IIT, right?
Yeah, so I got after that there was this was a 3.5 year course
Mm-hmm.
which I completed along with college. After that, I got through in NIT itself in their R&D division. This was in 1997, and at that time, this was headed by a gentleman called Dr. Sugata Mitra. And at that time, we used to work on neural networks and speech recognition and things like that. At that time,
Mm-hmm.
97, Microsoft had come up with a speech API, and we were all, gaga over it and trying to explore how it will work and how their engines work and how to use it as a in a use case and all. So we had developed a multimedia kiosk at that time, which took speech input and
Converted.
answered in speech. Of
Got
course,
it.
the text was it was there was no AI
Mm-hmm.
or LLMs at those times, but that's how.
Right.
So it was all non. How do I put it? A very non-standard or non-traditional
A
software
very
development.
non-linear way of growth. Nothing was planned. Everything just happened.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it just happened.
Yeah.
And I think that was a good thing also, because yes, a lot of my colleagues got placed in traditional large software development houses,
Mm-hmm.
which had the traditional database or functional software development. But here it was very different.
Right.
So there's pros and cons to it, right? If because it was very different, the exposure was very different, and I was able to understand a lot many things. But then the flip side is when you go to the traditional kind of business, there is a process understanding, there is a functional understanding, which comes
Mm-hmm.
with time. So, right, that was something
So,
which I was not exposed
right. So you did, a lot of things in your career. You started with NIT, then I saw that you worked as a software engineer, then as a delivery manager, then as project managers as well in certain roles.
to. Correct.
Then you ended up starting a company called IndiQus Technologies,
Yes.
right? So what led to that?
So I just before starting IndiQus, I was with a company, and I didn't feel it. I was going in the right direction. So IndiQus also happened purely by chance.
Okay.
Okay, so you call it God, you call it fate. It's been good to me. So
Mm-hmm.
IndiQus happened by chance. One day, one of my I had quit the job. Okay, I felt that this is not going in the correct direction,
Right.
and I quit my job. And one day, after within 6 months, my friend called me. He was with me in Spectranet. That was my earlier
Right.
organization. So there he called me and said, "Look, there's this chance we're trying to form an organization. Will you come and join us on to help us on the tech side?" I went, met them. I have worked with him. He's my partner.
What was the problem you were solving at IndiQus?
We were solving this cloud problem only, right?
Okay.
So we wanted to build. We started as a services company.
Mm-hmm. What services?
Okay, so for the first thing was that we were given a contract which was taken up by Citrix. They sublet it to us,
Got it.
and we had
Subcontracting.
yeah we went to this customer called Sri Lanka Telecom.
Okay.
Okay, and there they were pitching a product called CPBM, and we realized that yes, there is a lot of scope of a
Mm-hmm.
similar kind of product in our own
Right. Right.
area. So we started off with services by helping customers set up their cloud, set up their private cloud, set up
Got
their
it.
cloud. We use it. There's this awesome software called Apache Cloud Stack,
Yes.
right? So we use that and we help many customers set up. Then we realized that there is a scope for this product where you have a self-services OSS BSS layer running on top of that, which will enable CSPs or telcos to become cloud providers in their own area. Data sovereignty was a big thing even at that time, right? And you're a face, unlike the hyperscalers. If you're a local provider, you have a face, right, to your end customers. So that was the problem we were trying to solve, and we got very good orders. We got
So you guys ended up developing that software.
yes, we
that
ended
layer?
up developing that,
Okay.
and we deployed that across many
Hmm.
customers globally. We
Right.
continue to do that even now under the name of Yotta. So
Okay.
we still do have customers who are running our complete stack on their premises and offering that as a cloud.
Then
So Yotta was one of our customers.
Acha.
So their cloud V1 was set up by us and it was run by us. So then we continued this journey. Their startup journey was a complete seesaw but full of excitement,
Right.
right? And there, that is where we learned a lot of I'll say techniques as to how to handle different situations, etc., which would typically not come with a job,
Right.
right? And that's how we started IndiQus, and that journey was very exciting, and it finally culminated in 2024.
But
Well,
why? You guys were doing well. You guys built a very good product, very good
we
team.
wanted to
you had good
scale.
customers.
We wanted to scale. We tried funding 2-3 times.
But why do you think that
Until-
the scale didn't happen if the product was good? What do you think? Probably this is a lesson for fellow entrepreneurs as well.
Sure.
You
Yeah. So I'll say, see, there were two things. One is you need to have bandwidth to nurture the product,
know.
and you also need to have bandwidth to spread the product.
Right.
Right? So the features have to be developed vertically as well as horizontally, right? So in that case, typically what we ended up doing only one part, which is basically enhancing the features. We couldn't get time to develop. We didn't have the bandwidth. Whatever we got, we were revenue funded primarily. Whatever amount of
You
money
guys
we
were
got,
completely bootstrapped, no
yes,
external funding.
no external funding.
Okay.
So whatever we got, we put it back. We took a very marginal salary. Me and my co-founder took a very marginal salary, right? So we needed money to hire people to build. We operated as a very small team,
Got it.
right? And there were so many customers we needed to support. Software comes with its glitches.
Correct.
We needed
software
time to
engineering tech is very expensive.
exactly.
Right. Maintaining.
People do not
Yes.
get that, and they feel कि बन तो गया अब क्या प्रॉब्लम है.
सबको ये लगता है बन गया अब तो क्या ही है अब तो चलना है बस. It doesn't work like that.
Correct. And so we either used to enhance it, stabilize it, fix it, or we could go wider.
Yeah.
But we couldn't do both.
So tell me one thing. There are a lot of entrepreneurs who get really obsessed with the product they are building, right? So they really don't know when to stop, where to stop, right, or even when to ask for help. Too much bias is there. It's my baby, I built it, and you don't really want to get out of that shell, out of that bubble, and zoom out and look at the bigger picture. So
Very true.
So do you think there could be a framework, or how can someone evaluate and understand that this is the right time to stop, or to maybe get acquired or get acquihired?
Good question. So first thing I would like to say is be passionate about what you're trying to achieve, but have your goals in mind that this has to solve a problem. Otherwise, it will be ending up as a great product, but which no one wants to use, which is not what you want to do.
Right.
It has to solve a problem. I will, while this may be difficult, I will tell all the entrepreneurs there or startup founders there to be passionate about your goal, but not about what you've.
Right. Not the process.
It is not your baby actually. Okay, the idea or goal or the problem you are trying to solve is your baby. What you created may not be the thing in the
Correct.
on the fire. It is not your baby. That's what I want to highlight. Right. What you wanted to achieve, the problem you wanted to solve, that is your baby. And you need to focus on the end. What you created was a way of achieving that end.
Yeah, right.
Right. When you become too obsessed with a product, or you feel that it is going to be the be all and end all of things, then you do face a challenge when you are struck with reality, which may be different.
And sometimes it never happens. I have known, couple of entrepreneurs, and I have known them for last, almost a decade. That person has been doing the same thing for last 10 years, trying and fighting for certain grants. And I don't know, I think it's more like, think of it as an UPSC exam, where people get so obsessed with, becoming an IS officer that they end up sacrificing their entire 20s and early 30s preparing for it, giving those exams, and then failing in it again and again. I think it impacts your mental health as well. It impacts your overall confidence as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So see, uh, in such cases, you need to take a call as to whether you are going in the right direction or not. We started, as I told you, we started as a service organization. Had we not gone there, had we not seen a requirement, had we not decided to create it, we wouldn't have. Probably we would have
Right.
been a service organization, right? You have to adapt. I once, underwent a course through SAS Bhumi, where there was one thing which struck both of us, me and my partner, that there's something called effectuation, where you adapt according to the circumstances.
Correct.
You take actions according to the circumstances. I think that is a very good mantra.
Correct.
You
Correct.
have to take actions according to
Effect
the
and
circumstances.
action.
Yes, you cannot be rigid. If you're rigid, you will be cut down. You have to
So the
mold
history
yourself.
history is more than what do you call evident of this, that look at all the companies who have succumbed to growth, like companies like Nokia, Yahoo, and all that, who were too adamant to not evolve and not grow. Right? They used to think like they are too big to fail, but
Correct.
I think no one is too big to fail.
Correct.
So
And so if now if you're talking of startups and exits, keep a goal in mind, but just realize that that you may not meet that.
mhm,
You have to have a range below which I will not go, and if it's decent, you in the larger interest you need to let go.
yes,
Right.
Hmm.
That is something which is very important.
Correct. So you said that in your entrepreneurial journey, you and your partner, you guys were withdrawing very minimal salary just to survive, right? So how many times you guys felt like giving up and just taking up a corporate job, earning money, and doing something good in life?
Oh, lots. If I say I never felt it, I would be lying through my teeth. Lots. Sometimes I used to just wake up in the morning and say, "What the hell am I doing?"
Right.
Right? But I also realized that 30 odd people had put their faith on
Mhm.
both of us, right? And uh, my partner, Srinando, he also came from a service provider background. We used to work together in SpectraNet. And both of us felt that, treating employees is the first thing that we need to do.
Right.
Right? They are the greatest assets. And even today, I'm proud to say this, that there are people who joined us on the first year, and they are still with us as part of the acquisition, and they're doing brilliantly.
Mhm.
So that is something I pride myself in, that we were able to create such a culture of trust and empowerment. And when I looked at those 30, or thought about those 30, then I felt that no, I have a duty towards them.
So basically, what
But
kept you moving was your duty or your responsibility towards those 30 odd folks.
yes, and see, the work we were doing was interesting,
Right.
right? But of course, the returns that we expected, that's again another thing that I want to
Correct,
tell all
right.
entrepreneurs, that it may not be an easy journey.
Hmm.
Right.
It
Many,
never
many,
is.
many, many months. Of course, I was not handling the financial part, but many months I could just look at my partner's face and know कि बॉस ये महीने तो
Hmm.
टेंशन है, पता नहीं सैलरी कैसे देंगे, you know, right? So he handled the complete business sales part,
Got it.
right? So that's again a very large benefit I got, that I didn't run the business fully, right? I had to focus only on my
Yes,
areas,
yes.
right? So a single person's having to look at those as well as that, I would have been,
Hmm.
difficult.
So, you guys got acquihired by Yotta, right? So, do you feel better at Yotta now that you're not actually responsible for the salaries, for the financial part, and all that stuff? Is the life easier compared to what it was at IndiQus?
See, I'll make a small correction. We are responsible even now, in
Mm-hmm.
the sense there are some projects which are very critical, which we are handling,
Right.
and based on which uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, a lot of revenue is supposed to flow in, and we are all responsible for building that as part of Yotta, right?
Right.
And we still do have that startup mindset, so I think it does help in the work I do at Yotta.
Okay.
But yes, there are a lot of other people who take care of this, the smaller aspects and the finer aspects. Not even small, I
It's
would
not
say.
as aggressive. It's not as
Yeah, it is a
It's,
well-oiled
yes,
organization. It is a
yes.
large
Mm.
organization with its own set of processes. So that is a big advantage.
So if let's assume like if this offer of acquisition was there 5 years earlier, would you guys have taken it?
That's a tough one. Uh, Probably yes, even then.
Okay.
The reason being, we wanted to scale it in a particular
Right.
manner, and we were not able to do so
Mhm.
because of lack of finances, etc. So yes, we would have taken it
So
on.
do you think that scaling that didn't happen for whatsoever reason, was it a function of people or was it a function of product or service?
I believe it will be a combination of all,
Okay.
right? It is about how you execute. It is about the nuances of your software
Mhm.
industry. It is about the nuances of working in a startup or
Right.
running a startup. It was the first one for both of us.
Mhm.
Of course, we have made mistakes. We could have done many things in hindsight. I feel we could have done many things much, much better, focused on much, much more, or defocused on
Yeah.
many things. So that way, yes, I do believe we should, you know, see, at the end of the day, I think we should focus on surviving first and then thriving.
Right.
Right.
Which is
The,
true.
the
Correct.
moment you start, this is again one of the key punchlines I heard from that program I was
Okay. I think
mentioning.
I'll have to go back and look at what that program is.
Yeah. So no, but it's really good. You have to set up a base first,
Mhm.
and then you have to scale.
Obviously, right.
Right. If you try to achieve the top, it's great. There are
See,
many
you can't
who.
build house of cards, right? So even
Yeah,
with a
you have to have start small
right,
and
smaller
go up
disturbance,
smaller. Yeah.
everything is going to
So
collapse.
yeah, we couldn't scale at the rate we wanted to because of many of these underlying reasons. We made some mistakes as well. We couldn't hire enough people. The
Hmm.
people we had to be trained. The technology we chose was not very simple,
Right, right,
right?
right.
There were not enough people in the market for that, right? So there,
Hmm.
and plus we couldn't really drive a tech roadmap. It was driven by circumstances.
Yes.
Some large customer came with a large order and wanted a particular feature within a particular time, we all ran towards that.
I think it's not just
So we
about
had
you
to,
being a small startup. Even if we look at very big organizations, like let's talk about Microsoft CRM or something like that. Right? Even they are driven by their big customers, the requirement that they put in place.
correct.
Yeah. So
So we had to change roadmaps many times. I remember we had a third. I have a third co-founder also who was
okay.
heading the product. He used to get frustrated a lot. There was a lot of friction with him. Yet we had decided this. Why are we going this way? It was more like okay, but money is going to come from here.
Right. So you're not getting that blank canvas to experiment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So
Right.
that's how.
So at Yotta, you guys are betting very too much on AI platforms, right? While what we are doing is betting way too much on human engineers, right? So how do you think AI is going to impact engineering as a function overall?
Okay, interesting question. So I think they complement each other. They are not. They are not. Going to cancel out each other.
Mhm.
Uh, it's like when you invented the wheel or the fire. It didn't solve everything for you.
Correct.
You still have to run the show. So AI is just that. It will be an awesome servant but a bad master.
I think once
Right? It has to be governed.
yeah.
I won't even say controlled, but AI has to be governed.
Mhm.
It needs to operate within a set
But
of.
is it possible to govern AI? That is a bigger question to answer.
Uh, that only time can tell. But
Mhm.
I believe yes, with the right measures in place. I'm not talking of governance with respect to actual sovereign governments. I'm talking of governance with respect to best practices of
You're
using
right.
AI, etc. It is up to us, right, what we do with fire. As such,
Mhm.
even fire is uncontrollable.
Correct.
Right.
So that's what now when you
It has to be a complement of each other.
right. And when you solve one problem, you end up creating multiple another problems.
Yeah,
Right?
it's always a chain.
When
Yes.
we discovered fire, then we had to solve problem how to extinguish fire, how to control fire.
Correct.
Right? So you created 10 more problems that needs to be solved.
Needs to be solved. Exactly.
Yeah.
So then even in this whole IT infrastructure data center business, it is as such. If you look at it, it is an ancillary business which is helping you create something to solve a different problem. There's a
Correct.
huge chain, right? You want to order something. At the end of the day, what did you want?
Mhm.
You want to have an ice cream at a particular point of time. You want to eat something. That is the end goal, right? It is going via a browser to a portal. There are a lot of people involved, infrastructure involved, support services involved, etc. But at the end of the day, the problem that you're solving is you want to have a sweet bite.
Right. But do you think, AI is impacting engineering in a way that it is actually reducing the overall productivity of engineers, productivity of at least average engineers?
I wouldn't put it that way. I feel that if you use it well, it actually increases your productivity.
Doesn't it make the engineers more shallow? They don't have that depth of technology, depth of the concept.
That's again, as I said, it depends on how you want to use it. If you want to depend on it,
Mm.
I recently had a situation where AI, we were looking up for a solution, and when we came up with something, it was the engineers started believing that that is the final
Right.
method of doing it, and they once we got stuck, it got stuck. But
Mhm.
I believe that should be more of a path.
Right.
It is going to point you in the right direction. At least as of now, it is not going to solve your problem still.
Right.
Especially if we are talking of engineering and using AI,
Mhm.
right? It's great for bootstrapping. It's great for analyzing logs. There are a lot of things you can use it right now for, which is going to augment your capabilities and all. At the end of the day, the same answer analogy can be taken towards a calculator, right? If you do everything on paper, it will keep your brain sharp. But you can do it.
Right.
But it's
You have
better
to draw a
use it.
line.
You have to
Itna
draw a
karna
line.
hai,
And
yahan
that
pe,
line
where
cannot
you
be
want
very
to.
hard.
Right.
It
Right.
has to be crossed here
It
and
is
there
very
sometimes.
circumstantial as well, right? It is
Exactly.
not very can't be specific as
Yeah,
such.
so it's not a radio button answer.
Right.
I would be doing injustice to either side if I say it's a reliable tool.
Hmm.
So what I will recommend to engineers is use it as a tool or your best tutor to give you fast answers,
Hmm.
to give you and point you in the right
To
direction,
delegate the
and to delegate
grunt
the heavy
work.
lifting.
Yes.
Yes, but if you get stuck, you have to go back to your grassroots and your basics.
Right.
So, as the way I see it, even with all the Gen AI coming in, of course, what will happen tomorrow is obviously a question mark. But the way I see it is that we need to use this responsibly and as a tool to augment our own capabilities.
Mhm.
Right?
Right.
It is the day we start looking at it as a substitute is when we start, feeling redundant and all. That day may come, may not come.
But as of today, is AI reducing the overall, or no, putting it in a different way? As of today, is AI actually increasing the productivity of engineers? Hence, uh, letting organizations hire lesser engineers compared to what they were doing few years back.
I believe if done well, yes.
We are hearing a lot of news coming from companies like Microsoft, Amazon, that they have laid off
Laid
5,000
off,
folks,
yeah.
10,000 folks.
Yeah.
Do you think they're actually laying off because of AI, or just AI is just another excuse to lay off people?
That's again a very good question. I would not totally attribute it to AI, right? So again, as I said, see, is the productivity getting increased? Yes, it will if you use it properly.
Right.
But if you are using it for everything that you do,
Hmm.
right? For if you want to write a document, you can take pointers from that. But
Yeah.
the least you should do is at least go through that.
Right.
Right? You cannot. It is not a delegation. You cannot delegate.
Hmm.
You should not, get it, just transfer it.
Right.
You have to go through it. It is a blueprint for you, but which needs your supervision. This is what I feel. This is my opinion. I'm sure there will be n number of people who will be vehemently disagreeing to my opinion and saying that yes, it can do almost everything. I'm sure it's working out for them. But if you have to take a cautious middle path, this is what I will suggest.
See, what I believe is, that AI is being used as a two-edged sword for the organization. Two things are happening. One, when you are laying off people, saying that AI is actually replacing those engineers, funnily enough, it is actually shooting up their stock prices because companies are saving money by adopting AI. Right? In earlier days, when there was some news of layoffs, stocks would ideally go down, right? But that is obviously one. So you are laying off people, reducing costs. At the same point of time, you are actually creating that optics that we are adopting AI in a way that it is actually helping us reduce the cost, and hence their stock price is also shooting up.
That's an interesting angle. I hadn't thought of it before.
That is actually happening. If you look at the moment a lot of companies they release they do those press releases that they have laid off 5,000 folks, instead of the stock prices going down, it goes up. So you just have to add because of AI. So
That's interesting.
but I think that is also changing now. That happened for last couple of years, but now people are also realizing that it's just a gimmick that companies are using, and then, they also know that that is not happening.
So we both into this tech field. I still feel engineers are required, and maybe
Obviously.
maybe you can do much more with AI and an engineer in combination than you could with a pure engineer before.
Right.
But can you let AI run the show? I don't know. Time will tell, but maybe not now. Not as of now.
See, right now the AI has all the knowledge, right? It has all the knowledge that is available probably in the universe, but it doesn't have intelligence. Intelligence still lies with human. So I think obviously as of today you can't replace engineers with AI, but maybe with AGI that can happen. Do you think AGI will actually happen?
So I believe theory is also very important, because unless you understand the dynamics and the underlying architecture and the underlying functioning of anything, be it a car mechanic, be it anything, right? You will not be able to supervise that, even if it gets
Right.
automated, right? So engineers who are depending totally on AI, they're really, walking down a rabbit hole.
I think I would not even call them engineers. They are just mechanic who are just plugging
Exactly,
in
just plugging
various
in it.
parts and that
Yes, yes.
making
It is
trying to make it
definitely
work.
not the way to go.
Yes.
You need to have your basics correct. You
Hmm.
need to understand, and you need to spend time on learning the underlying structure and the underlying architecture, how it functions, right from the OS to the top. You know, then you can harness AI and use its powers as a tool.
Right. It should be
Right.
used to make you more productive. It should
Exactly.
not be used to augment your thinking, not
Yes.
augment how you are actually your thought
Yes,
process.
you shouldn't become a postman at the end of the day. Then I can easily replace you, right?
Correct.
Anyone can just take it, copy it, and do it. That's some manual work that you're doing with applying zero intelligence. It has to be used as a tool, not as a servant or as a delegate.
Right, right. Forget about software engineering now. Though I'm seeing a lot of people who are using AI. There are a lot of AI tools. People are using it so so tremendously for interviews as well, right? So I take so many interviews on a day-to-day basis, and I always see some people typically keep their phone in front of uh, on their laptop screen के सामने keyboard के ऊपर, right? And now all the chat GPT, Gemini, all those have that conversation wala feature, right? You just switch it on, whatever you are talking, whatever it is listening, all the conversation is happening over there, and it keeps giving the answer. You just read from there,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So I see so many interviews that are actually very perfect answers, perfect examples, which doesn't sound human. So
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So AI is a mixed bag for sure.
Yeah.
This is definitely the case, but I believe there's tremendous potential if used properly.
you're right.
Right, and the people who are building use cases on AI, like as I mentioned, Bhashini, one of the uh, customers of ours, they're doing an awesome job in almost all the languages of India, and at real time you're
Right.
able to get these are. And to the people who don't understand English very well, the rural people, for all government schemes, etc. This is an awesome use case.
You're right.
Right, so it depends on what you're doing it for.
Yeah.
From a pure engineering perspective, I'll say getting pointers or in the right direction, or getting it to do the broader architecture for you, that really helps.
Yes, but
But then
yeah,
it has to be, there has to be a second level check. If you use that as the final basis on which you are going to
sadly
proceed,
that's what is happening
that is going to cause you trouble. At
Correct,
least now,
correct.
it is not 100%
now.
perfect.
And unfortunately, that is happening. That is happening a lot, in fact. So going back to my question, do you think AGI is actually going to happen? If then, what timeline do you think when it is going to happen?
Achieving AGI is a bit far, according to me.
And why is that?
Right, because at the end of the day, it's based on some models you have and the knowledge that is already there. I do not know how to put it, but I believe human intelligence can adapt and learn and think out of the box.
Mhm.
I'm not sure how well that logic fits
Yeah.
AI.
Hmm.
Right.
True. I really don't see it happening.
I came up with an engineering. I came across a guy who was building something similar to Truecaller.
Hmm.
Okay, where the number comes in. So basically, you need a very quick request response between sending a
Correct.
number and a name.
Right.
Right. That guy, and hats off to him. I still quote that example. He used DNS for that.
Okay.
That's such a brilliant idea, so simple. DNS is supposed to give you a name to IP address like this, right? He said, okay, who said it has to be like that? Let me use it for reverse.
Right.
This is what I'll send it. It needs to give me the name. That's it. That is engineering. I don't know if AI can come up with that because this is not a practice. It's not a standard method of doing
Let's
things.
see, AI learns from patterns, right?
Exactly.
And then
This
it's
is
again
not a pattern. This is an
yeah.
out of the box point.
Correct.
And hats off to that guy. I don't know what happened to that whole product as of now, but at that time, I thought this was one of the best ways to do that.
Correct.
So it's just an example of what out of the box thinking is.
Right. So, see, Gen AI right now is basically just a probabilistic model, right?
Correct.
And it's not that it was not there earlier as well. It's now that, the GPUs have that capability that it can run those models. And that's why I think we are able to achieve that level of Gen AI as well.
Correct.
Right. So, do you think that a time will come when GPU will hit a certain critical mass or something, or a certain blocker? Uske baad, you're not able to build GPUs at a much wider scale, and then Gen AI will probably, it will take a stop, or it will stop growing basically.
Actually, on the contrary, I think the dependence on GPUs will soon become commoditized. GPU will become like a commodity. Right now, it's a rarity from an affordability perspective, availability perspective, right?
Yeah.
And accessibility. All these it's a little prohibitive.
Correct.
That will go down. And B, the models and algorithms that we'll be using will become more superior to not require so much GPU at all. Right? So I honestly am not able to visualize such a situation where we will run out of resources, or there'll be something that the current hardware is not able to do. Of course, extreme computing and all is there. If you go into the astronomical space and all, I'm not the expert here to comment on that, but there may be blocks or slabs where you hit the ceiling and you're not able to proceed. But for general AI related stuff, I believe that's going to come down. The dependence on such extreme hardware is slowly going to come down.
Is it already happening?
Yes, I believe it's already happening. Even in China and all, they have come up with models which do not need so much of GPU cycles.
Right.
Right. So it's going to go on a lower trend.
Okay. And okay, interesting point actually, that you think that eventually the requirement or the need of that GPU cycles is going to go down eventually, and algorithms are going to get smarter over time, right?
Yeah.
And what do you think is required for AGI? What kind of resources, or do we have certain number that, even if we have to achieve AGI, because what I understand is, what we're trying to mimic is a human brain, right? And human brain has trillions and trillions of those, what do you call it? Receptors, right? And we are trying to replicate the same thing in those GPUs as well, right? So do you think GPUs will be able to replicate a human mind?
I'll answer you in two parts, okay? You can see a lot of these phones in the market which are not made by large companies. There are a lot of phones which are copies.
Correct.
So there are two parts, hardware and the software. And they work together to form an Apple or a Samsung or a Pixel or whatever, right? So what are we achieving there? The hardware, right? But there has to be a software also which operates it.
Correct.
Right? Sending the impulses and all. Okay, receptors are there. I don't think we fully understand the human brain.
Obviously.
Right.
Recently, researchers discovered a new organ in our body. So,
I see.
I forgot the name. They recently, discovered a new organ in the body. So, Even with medical science, that has advanced so much, still we are not aware how what all components human body is made of. Forget about brain. Brain is a very complex, I would say, organ, right? And to replicate and to understand it completely is still a big deal.
Yeah,
Right? So,
absolutely, absolutely. So that's the one reason why I feel AGI is going to be a little far away. We still do not know what we want or how it works.
right,
AGI based on data for sure, but that's again a database. It's not really AGI. It's AI. That uh, that state of an AI, according to me, is a bit far off. Primarily because we ourselves don't understand the internals.
Got
How
it.
how two people presenting the same situation will react differently.
Right. So tell me one thing. You mentioned, that GPU will eventually become commoditized, right? So it's does it going to become more like a blockchain, which is also crowd-sourced, crowd operated, something like that?
It'll uh, it'll become like any other CPUs you have.
Mhm.
Today you can go with an Intel or an AMD or
Correct.
something, right? So today Nvidia is the leader, and their products are far ahead of the rest.
Right. I
But
think they don't even have any competition as such
right now they don't have competition. But how we've always seen, as past history goes, that technical leadership is limited for a few years.
Correct.
Right after that, the catch up is very fast. After that, there is a point where you cannot further innovate at that speed, where the in
You're right.
comparison to the speed of which company organizations will catch up. All right, and and technology is unpredictable. I don't know if if you know there's this there used to be this RSA keychain,
Yes.
which had a 6-digit number, and you used to authenticate. Basically, it was a method of authenticating what you know and what you have.
Correct.
Right. I believe a 5 paise SMS has replaced that.
Correct.
Right. So we look at what Kodak. It was one of the leaders, but the moment the digital photography came, went away. We don't know that future. It's very difficult to predict.
Right. So once this becomes a commodity, what will happen to uh, companies like yourself, like Yotta? Uh, how is that going to reshape the industry?
So we look whether it is a commodity or not. We are focused on providing it as a service, as an infrastructure platform, right? And we want to provide that as an infrastructure platform. So in fact, if it is commoditized, we will be able to access more customers who are able to afford those services and come to us for more services, which is right now prohibitive.
Right.
Right. The requirement of providing this service will not change, but my reach to the masses is going to increase.
Got it.
Right now, it is an elitist market. Let me be very honest.
It is right. It is
Right, which will not.
Okay.
Then tomorrow, actually, it's going to be beneficial, because some developer sitting in some remote village in India can actually launch just two or three GPU instances and do something.
It's just like probably
Just
launching
AWS
an app,
cloud.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. The way anybody can publish an app to Play Store or App Store, it will become as simple as that.
It's as such going to help.
Yeah.
Right. So the underlying statement I would like to make is AI is, as of now, a good servant, not a good master, and B, it is a tool.
Right.
It is not a substitute for you. You have to have a second round of uh, evaluation of whatever you're trying to achieve. If you miss that, AI should not be blamed.
Obviously. Right. You took that decision.
Exactly.
Despite being aware of the consequences. So
Exactly.
you have to take the responsibility as well.
Exactly. And take it as a direction. A guy
Yeah.
who's who's not. There's no one in the world who can be the expert on everything, right? Yeah, if you ask me for for a suggestion, I'll give you, but it is opinionated.
Like obviously that comes
Right.
from your baggage,
Anything
your
is any.
experiences, your
There is
biases.
no one in the world who is not opinionated.
Obviously,
Right?
right.
You have to just evaluate with a cool head whether that opinion makes sense or not. Is there a better way of doing it? But at least it will help you open up your mind. Oh, these are ways of doing it. Fine.
Right.
Again, as a human being, however brilliant you are, you have to achieve something, you may be able to think of only two methods of doing that. Probably AI will give you six.
Correct, right. So let's talk a little bit about building a team and culture. At IndiQus, you had a small team of 30, 40 odd engineers. At Yotta, that team has probably 10x or 20x. So what challenges you faced from that journey of 30 to maybe 300 and 400 engineers?
Good question again. So when you have a large team, there are a lot of not just I'll say techno-cultural differences in the way
Yes.
you expect someone to behave, in the way they actually operate, in the way they expect you to deal with them, right?
Right.
So you have to marry a lot of uh, cultural aspects and technical aspects and move them forward. Right? That is one of the largest
Obviously, correct,
challenges
correct.
there. But if you and that according to me is built on trust. Everyone understands that there were different ways of doing things. People come with their own baggage. People come with their predisposed notions that this is how this was best, this is how we were doing it, or this is how I have been doing it. This is how it works. So having the trust, building that trust is first very critical to make people open and receptive to
But
a different
how do
way
you
of doing
build that trust at scale? See, building trust with 4, 5, 10 people you're interacting on a daily basis is easy. Right? But building trust with 400, 500 folks, how do you do that?
You have to ensure that culture goes top down.
Okay.
Right. There's no way you can interact with 400 people.
Obviously.
You have to interact with your set of 10 and ensure that they propagate that culture. See, if you are treated in a particular way, most likely you will
always top down.
Most likely you will treat the others on a particular way.
Correct.
I'll be very honest. I have been very fortunate that my reporting managers have always trusted me and kept me like a friend. Right? Okay, इसको दे दिया, ठीक है. He'll tell me if there's anything, or he'll do it. He'll do the stuff. That is how I like to keep my people. That is the trust I expect from them. Right. So my way of behavior has propagated like that, and now I see that same sort of behavior in the next line also.
Got it.
Right. Whereas if the background was different and I came from a different, I'm not saying that is a good method or a bad method. Each style has its pros and cons, but that propagates, right? So that is what we try to make. And there will be, and there will be in future also differences.
But see, trust is also a two-way street, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So if someone is trusting you, I think you are able to keep that calm and build that trust, because when you are entrusting someone with certain work, it is actually getting done, right? But what happens if you keep trusting people with certain things and it keeps failing?
Obviously, so you have to call it you have to draw a line. There is no one single mantra. Right? You have to take hard decisions sometimes. You have to take hard calls sometimes. Sometimes I get feedback which pinches me, but then when I think about it alone, I say, "Yeah, ye banda theek keh raha. I need to improve."
Correct.
It is two ways. The day, I mean, touch wood, that's not the case with me so far. The day I feel that I am better than the rest is the day I'll start to go down.
Right. So how do you identify, the red flag, or what are the red flags in an engineer or in your team, which is an instant turn off for you?
I will say attitudinal differences, not aptitude.
Okay. What kind of
Attitude is more uh, the willingness to participate, the willingness to work, the honesty. If someone is doing something and spending a lot of effort but is not getting outcome, I'm happy to help him, her. But if someone is not getting an outcome and not spending efforts also,
Right.
they are more red flags. Or if that someone, there's this crude saying, NMFP, right? Not my effing problem. That's a very turn off attitude,
Correct.
right? Especially if you're coming from a startup brain, everything is everyone's problem,
Correct.
right? If sales are not happening, it is indirectly my problem.
But there are certain instances, where the attitude is right. But still, despite multiple efforts, someone is not being able to perform as per your expectation. Then what?
Then you have to take hard calls.
Okay.
But the only thing I personally feel is you need to ensure that if you are in that position's shoes, you have been given enough opportunity to change.
Right.
That's all. After that, I don't feel guilty.
Hmm.
But if I have not done that, then I am missing a very basic
Right.
employee engagement point.
You have to give them enough opportunities for them to grow and nurture.
Grow and prove.
But
And you have
still
to
there are-
provide feedback. And if still it doesn't happen, then you have to take a hard call.
How can we identify these things in the see hiring is always a matter of chance, right? It's always 50-50. No matter how well you grill the person, you can never know.
Absolutely spot on.
Right.
If you are asking me how do you identify in these interviews, short answer, you can't. Long answer, you can by asking what all you did. Okay, and giving hypothetical situations, which are absolutely open-ended questions.
Right.
Right? This is what is happening. What will you do?
Correct.
If the first statement is, I will escalate or I will do something like that, fine, that person is reporting but is not trying to actually do something.
Right.
Fine thing. I will escalate to my manager. Okay.
They're basically brushing off from
So
your
what
shoulder.
the choice of words also make a difference.
Correct.
I will inform my manager, but I will keep trying this. It's the same statement, but you can find a difference in the intent.
Right.
But what all said and done, I don't think there is any mantra to avoid a mishire.
Right.
I think that's where people like your organization will come in. Where I know, okay, this guy is not a mishire.
Right.
What is the biggest pain point today in hiring? Is the initial validation.
Correct.
Right? Attitude cannot be found out in a 45-minute interview. You can
Not
find
at
out
all.
aptitude to a large extent.
And I think aptitude is, more or less balanced across all folks. It's the attitude that, that makes or break.
Makes the difference. Yes.
Correct.
You cannot find that in a 45-minute.
Yes.
I mean, these are again, as I said, my opinionated. Opinions. These are my opinions, but
It's very valid actually.
But
it makes sense.
I just will not agree to someone who can say they can judge so easily.
Right. And how
It's bound to have mishires are bound to happen. How you deal with them is the point.
Correct. And how about, there are certain times when someone has been, in terms of aptitude, has been extremely good, but probably becomes a bad vibe or a bad energy for the rest of the team.
I will let go immediately.
Okay.
I can take baggage which is not productive and try to make them productive.
Yes.
But attitudinal baggage, I will not take. I am happy to let go.
Do you think, the number of hours we spoke about, that there are certain folks who are attitude wise, they are very good, right? But they have been not able to basically meet the expectation that we have in place. So do you think the number of hours the people needs to work, does that also matter?
This is that famous Narayan Murthy debate.
Yes.
Okay, I have some thoughts on this, right? I'll go to a first question of why do you want to work? Is it for earning money, that is for sustenance? Is it that you want to reach something but you have to work to reach that? Or is it, are you working for passion?
Right.
And passion doesn't mean you have a cushion or something. You may be having a financial cushion, you may not, but you're working for passion.
Correct.
So it depends on these three.
Mm-hmm.
If you're working for the third, I don't think there's any time. You'll
You don't
yourself put in as many hours as your body can,
Right.
or as your priorities go. In the second case also, you are motivated enough to put in work and grow yourself. It is the third case which is the problem, where you're doing it as a job, as a sustenance, in order to meet your your daily needs, your family
Right.
needs, right? That approach was an approach of the Gen X or whatever. I'm also
Right.
part of Gen X, but that approach, then they will question hours and all. But if you're working for a growth or something, then you wouldn't be thinking about the hours,
Yes.
right? And on an average, a person starting, I would say, should at least 5 days a week put in minimum of 10
Mm-hmm.
for his career.
How
best.
many hours you put in a week?
Mine is at least 10 per day for
Okay.
5 days, and Saturday, Sundays also sort of interspersed with calls and all.
So do you think there are a lot of people who are stuck in middle management for a very long time, right? People with 10-15 years of experience being a tech lead or an engineering manager, and they really have no idea that why they are still stuck there while their counterparts, their friends are becoming VPs and CTOs. So the question is that what makes someone climb that tech leadership versus someone being stuck at the middle management?
I will say the ability to take a decision, and the decision making and ability to own, doesn't matter if it goes wrong,
Mm-hmm.
to own and take the decision,
Okay.
not be in execution mode, be in prescription mode,
Mm-hmm.
and do it for the larger goal of the organization,
Okay.
right? If I have to tell you and follow up, you are a good manager and a good executive.
So I think again you're talking about passion, maybe that you're doing it just
Passion, and more than passion, it's responsibility. Yeah, passion
Right.
of course is important. Yes.
Yeah.
So if I say, okay, let's build this product and give that to you, and you yourself come up with, take the initiative, ye karte hain, fine. But if I have to tell you that and you deliver brilliantly,
Yes.
it's great. You're doing an awesome job. You're fully justifying your salary and more, but I may not be able to elevate you at that level.
Right.
I
So,
think that is one of the very
I
key
think most of the
differences.
successful people are
It
typically
has to be techno-commercial.
Yes.
If you're brilliant technically, it's great, but you stop there.
Yeah. So do you think maybe it's the business mindset or the business optics that stops them from growing because they're too much in the developer mindset, not able to.
Absolutely, probably. I don't know how much this is true, but I think in many countries there's conscription,
Mhm.
where you're forced to work in the forces for a year or so.
Right. Yeah.
What that does is, again, this is debatable whether it's a good practice or not. I'm not getting into that. But what that does is it gives you an inside picture and an inside experience of what it is, what you're fighting for, what you're doing for your country, right?
Right.
Again, whether it's a good thing or not is a
I
very
think,
furious debate. So according to me,
Yeah.
everyone should at least give 1 year of their life to entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
At least, and earlier on. Doesn't matter if you fail.
Right.
Okay, 99 of 100 will fail. Probably 999 of 1000 will
Correct.
fail.
Correct. Right.
Doesn't matter. That 1 year will give you so much more than probably 10 years in a proper white collar morning to evening job.
I think it puts you in so much of adversity that everything
Yes.
else starts looking much easier after that.
More than easier or not, you are ready to deal with it.
Yes, maybe that's the reason it looks easier, that
Yes.
you are ready to deal with
Yes.
those problems
Yes,
head on.
this is my advice to the budding, not just, this is not the advice to the middle managers as you asked me, but this is my advice to budding college engineers. Or start work for 1 or 2 years. After that, give it a shot on your,
Right.
or just give it a shot after college. Doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Give it a shot.
Sounds good.
It's going to be beneficial for not just them, but for the country as such.
Yes.
Correct. Today, if we are talking of sovereignty, we are still true sovereignty is when those chips are designed in India.
And we are way,
Absolutely.
we're very far from that.
Yeah, I mean, we can say anything we want, but we are far away from it.
Exactly.
Right. And second, we need to own the LLMs and all. There are efforts in this direction.
But still, we are very far on that part as well.
Maybe not as far as
Yeah.
as the hardware side, but yes, we
No,
are.
obviously, hardware side pe to I
Right.
think it's a
That
very
is
long
true.
shot.
That is true independence. Again, there's this saying, engineering is an applied science. In India, there are amazing engineers. Okay, at the end of the day, Jugaad is also engineering, right? So, but we don't have people in pure science.
Yes.
We don't have people who will actually write algorithms, who will actually, the pure physicists. I'm not talking of Ramanujam and those who Aryabhatta and those who were there. They were there, but they were few and far between. We need more of that. Engineers, awesome, but engineers are applying the product science.
Right.
We need more people focused on the ground up.
And
unfortunately, it's not lucrative. Such
that's
people
what
end up
I
as
think
professors.
Government needs to make it lucrative.
Yes, I believe that
we
that
need to
push,
put in more money in that direction.
That
only
push
then
is
that
very
is going
much.
to happen.
That push is very much
Yeah.
required from the government, and it'll take us to the next level.
Right. See, PhD is a very lucrative profession in the West, but unfortunately,
Correct.
it's not there.
Got my point.
Yeah.
Here, at the most, you start teaching.
Yes.
Right there, and even if you're not, you will not get that amount of remuneration. At the end of the day, money is important. Okay?
Obviously,
It's
right.
a gyan hai, I want to do this. Money is very critical to almost every single person.
That is happening in the society. Na? Everybody is running after money. People are going to US. Why? Because they are paid well there, even
Right.
just to do research as well. ठीक है, I'll follow my passion. I'll do research, but पैसे तो दो मुझे. मतलब,
Right.
Why will I do it for
and research
peanuts?
is something where probably in a lifetime you get one thing correct. That's how it is.
Right.
That is the expectation you should have when hiring researchers. If you are able to dish out amazing discoveries every 10 months, then that's how many people are able to
It's
do
not
that.
possible. It
It's
never
not
happens.
practically
Right.
possible. Right. So it's the same thing. That's something where we are definitely lacking, and we would love to see a government push on that. There's a good push on engineering and all now. There's
Yes.
this lot of with this India AI mission is a very powerful instrument or a transport, you can say, to allow startups who are doing awesome stuff to get accessibility and affordability to resources.
Right.
But we need more push on the pure science area.